Oh, the chair's going to get it tonight, Jesse. Oh, the chair's going to get it tonight. Hello and welcome to a somber episode of the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as the fool who was talking about playoffs today.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Oh, after seeing tonight's game, I hope we can just win a game, Jesse. Of course, this is my vice mayor, the one and only Thunderstick, Jesse Friedman.
Derek, we don't normally go live before a game ends. In fact, we have never done this before.
Never. Not in the history of this podcast.
But when your team is trailing 18-1 and the game is not over, but it's the ninth inning, you just go live.
It was over.
The game has been over for a while. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, there's some questions. People want to know, where is Corbin Carroll? And we want to know that same thing because obviously Corbin Carroll, Alec Thomas, not on the field tonight. Starting on the bump for the Diamondbacks was Tommy Henry, who had his worst outing in the majors, unfortunately. Yes, Jacob Franklin says this was probably the least electric game I've ever watched. We went from arguably one of the most exciting regular season games we've ever seen on Monday to whatever the hell this was out there today. Overall, the D-backs still win the series, so we want to accentuate the positives, right? This is happening. What was happening inside of that television set a few moments ago before I switched it over. I don't want to talk about that really, but I know we have to. But let's talk about the fact that they did win this series, and honestly, everything was going swell before tonight. I mean, again, it's not aggregate scoring. These runs that they scored tonight do not carry back over into the past or into tomorrow, but very painful 18-1 loss. We had an appearance of Carson Kelly currently on the mound. That's not great. Things are never good when Carson Kelly's on the mound for you, but yeah, we are very upset about Corbin Carroll not playing. Jesse, what were your thoughts on what we saw? Maybe not just in this game because we don't want to really revisit this too much, but in this series.
Yeah, I mean, so real quick, I'll address the Corbin Carroll thing. I fully expected Corbin Carroll not to play in this game a couple days ago. There's a lefty on the mound. They started him against a lefty on Monday, but with another lefty today. And the fact that Mike Hazen said yesterday that Corbin Carroll is probably not going to be like an everyday player for the Diamondbacks, just by virtue of the fact that he's played a really long season. He's played the longest season of his career. It's been a really long year for him between the minors and now being called up to the majors. So he's probably going to get a day or maybe 2 days every week. And so I guess it sort of made sense for today to be that day. But yeah, I mean, Derek, it's hard to argue with the difference between the Diamondbacks with Corbin Carroll on the field versus without him on the field. I know it's 3 games here, but the Diamondbacks in those 2 games with Corbin Carroll were a very, very different team than without him. And obviously there's a number of other factors at play here as well. Tommy Henry did not pitch well at all in this game. But there are some positives from the series, obviously. I mean, the Diamondbacks really played well in the first 2 games of the series. Zach Gallen's streak is still alive at 34 1/3 innings, which is absolutely remarkable. So there are still some good things that happened this week at Chase Field so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just hard. It's hard to think past what we saw out there today. I mean, again, we talked about Tommy Henry having a rough outing, did not have a good night at all for this team. 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, right? But Jesse, the game is not 7-1. The game is 18-1, right? So obviously Tommy Henry being in there and being more successful would have eaten up some more innings, but this enormous loss is not all on Henry's shoulders. Tonight we saw quite a few guys falter, including our big fella Maranta. Kevin Ginkel gave up a run. Luis Frias, though, had a really rough outing in this game. And honestly, he was just completely ineffective. And the one thing I thought watching him give up 6 hits and 7 earned runs in his 2/3 of inning of work is, like, isn't it a bit damaging to continue to leave him out there when he was struggling like he was? Like, I know you're trying to let a young guy at that point just go out there on the mound, kind of, let that wound heal over and kind of scar up about how bad the night is and kind of get through it. But I feel like that was not a great situation to continue to leave him in.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think his pitch count only got to like the low 20s, so maybe it was more about pitch count than anything else in a game that the Diamondbacks were probably going to lose at that point anyway. But yeah, it was not a great showing for Luis Frias. I haven't checked over the last inning, so maybe this has changed, but the Phillies had 14 batted balls with an exit velocity of 100 miles per hour or higher as of the 8th inning. So they've just been absolutely destroying the baseball throughout this game. And amazingly, Derek, they have not homered in this game. They have scored 18 runs against the Arizona Diamondbacks without a home run in this game, which is pretty remarkable.
A lot of loaded bases tonight for the Phillies. Carson Kelly, surprisingly, is their most effective reliever in tonight's game.
He pitched a scoreless 9th inning. He just completed a scoreless 9th inning. So there you go.
I mean, what more can you want from the guy? But what I am concerned about is Joe Mantiply just a little bit. Jesse gave up another run tonight. This was a guy that seemed untouchable for a period of time during this year. And this came from our friends over at D-Backs Facts on Twitter. They said Joe Mantiply, before being named an All-Star on July 10th, had a 1.91 ERA. Since then, 4.26 ERA. Which is just flat out not good. And we've seen him kind of be ineffective in his last few appearances. So it's another blow to the Diamondbacks bullpen to just, again, tonight was one of those nights where nobody seemed to be able to go out there and just hold the game scoreless, especially in a game like this that has been, was kind of out of reach early on. I joked about needing to get Shane and Jacob back out there in the hot dog.
It's the only way.
That's what I know Jacob stole the hot dog costume. I know he's currently holding it for ransom in negotiations with the Diamondbacks. He wants to be Mustard now. So I don't know. He's very upset about being Ketchup, but Jacob, get in the goddamn costume and run around your house. I don't care what it takes. Dude, take one for the team. All right. But we do have some positives here, right? And I don't want to just completely, again, just discuss this game. This game is hard to watch. You said the problem is Cooper Hummel, bro. No, I'm not going to take that. I think tonight Cooper Hummel had a night where we should all commend him for getting hit in the area that he got hit, seeing how much pain that man was in, and seeing him stay in the game, right? Like, there were options.
Yeah.
Carson Kelly could have been out there catching. There's other things that they could have done. Let's not discredit the man on a night where he got his I don't want to say it seems cheap, but I'll say it
was sort of a fitting analogy for the game as a whole, though. I mean, it was sort of a kick to the nuts of a game for the Diamondbacks as a whole. It was not pretty. I said it. I just went
rubbing off on you in all the best ways. But again, accentuating the positives around here in this series that was great for a couple of the guys, including obviously Corbin Carroll had a tremendous series, and we're going to talk about that. But Jake McCarthy had himself a great series and continues to be good. Honestly, Jake McCarthy is the guy that kind of makes this outfield situation complicated. Him and Stone Garrett are the players that didn't really factor into the long-term plans that have now been good enough for this team to have to consider them as part of the team and not to disregard them for Corbin Carroll, Alec Thomas, and Dalton Varsho, or whoever we might see up as an outfielder for this team.
Yeah, McCarthy was great. He continues to just absolutely destroy the baseball. Stone Garrett did just ground into a double play that scored a run.
Yeah, so these updates. Yep, just got one down, 16 to go. Let's go, baby. If they do come back, Jesse, I feel like we have to do this show during the games until the rest of the season, right? That's what that means. Anytime they're at a loss, we have to come in.
Yes,
Jacob has
if
put
the
on the hot dogs
Diamondbacks
too.
have an 18-run inning here in the ninth, with now the bases empty and 2
You
outs,
promised it. You
we
promised
will
it. You
forever,
promised it.
forever and
All
ever
right.
do our post-series shows in the middle of the
Well,
game. Yes.
that's it. That's it. So, but speaking of Jake McCarthy, he is our DraftKings king of the series. The man had 2 home runs, 250. This 3 for 12 was as of 9:45 Mountain Standard Time. I'm not sure how he's going to do in his final at bat, or how he did in his final at bat, but the 2 home runs in consecutive nights were big. He was drove in the Diamondbacks' first run and what looked like was going to be their sole run. 3 runs scored in this series and 7 RBI for the young man. So just another outstanding series for Jake the Rake. And I'm very excited to have him complicate this situation for Torey Lovullo, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. But yeah, it does complicate things. I mean, if Jake McCarthy had come back up and put up numbers like he did before, Torey Lovullo's job as a manager would be significantly easier right now.
Yeah.
But with how things have turned
Totally.
out, I mean, Jake McCarthy has turned into arguably the brightest spot of the season for the D-backs, or at least one of the brightest spots of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy has an OPS of near 800. I might be a little bit over 800 after the game today. And Christian Walker is the only other guy with an OPS in that neighborhood. Yes, the game is now officially over.
806 OPS for Jake McCarthy, an 809 OPS for Christian Walker, and a 1.148 ER OPS for Stone Garrett.
There you go. He's the real
He's
MVP in these 5 games
MVP.
he's gotten to play so far, right?
Yeah, Jacob says seems the most inconsistent of the young hitters. Yeah, I mean, but I think the thing about McCarthy is even when he's not hitting, he finds way to get on base. He finds ways to score.
I think Jacob's talking about Varsho. He says, "Am I the only one who isn't a huge Varsho stan? Seems the most inconsistent of the young hitters," which is a fair point. Varsho has had his ups and downs this year, and he hasn't really shown much improvement over last year.
Yeah, and I mean that's really what you're looking for. And I think there was a lot of discussion tonight on Twitter about Varsho being back behind the plate, utilizing him there. They pretty much ruled that out. Torey Lovullo said that
not going to happen.
If we see Varsho back there, it'll be a late game change. It'll be a swap, like a defensive change to maybe bring someone into the game and or maybe an emergency catcher situation.
Yeah, it's like an emergency.
Yeah, he said the door is pretty much closed on Varsho starting at catcher for the rest of the season. And I think you put it best, where it's not trying to take anything away from Varsho. He is an average to possibly below average catcher, but seems to show that he can be an elite outfielder, especially when he was out there early this season in center field.
Yeah, and we asked Mike Hazen about this yesterday as well, during the Torey Lovullo press conference, the press conference about the fact that the team picked up his option for next year. There were a few other questions thrown in there, just sort of relating to the team in general. And one of them was, what went into the decision to make Dalton Varsho an outfielder rather than a catcher for this baseball team. And Mike Hazen basically just said exactly that. Like, look, the guy has shown himself to be an elite defensive outfielder. We want him to play outfield. And it's hard to argue with that. I mean, if you look at what scouts have written about Dalton Varsho's abilities behind the plate over the years, there are scouts who think he can play the position, but there aren't really any scouts who think that Dalton Varsho can really excel as a catcher, that that's really, the ideal position for him long term, especially now that we've seen him in the outfield where he is extraordinarily good. I mean, Dalton Varsho, had he not moved around so much between center field and right field this year, he would probably be a Gold Glove candidate. So he's been that good in the outfield this year for the Diamondbacks. And, even though that doesn't necessarily align with the positional needs of the team right now, I think that's just sort of where they have to go with him moving forward, just given the success that he's had.
Well said. Well, again, shout out to Jake McCarthy, our DraftKings King of the Series. And if you haven't done so already, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The wait is over. NFL season is back, baby. Here we go. Ready to launch. And I got a DraftKings pick of the week for you just for the first game, because they have a sweet offer on there to get down on. But you get ready for the NFL season with DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code PHNX and you will get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on any football game. They don't have to win. They don't have to lose. It doesn't matter what happens to them. That's code PHNX only at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. If you're new to DraftKings, I'm going to give you a tip on where to find all the good options, opt-ins that you can find where you might be able to get yourself a profit boost or other options on there that might entice you for a nice offer. DraftKings is always doing that. So you got to keep an eye out for those. Sometimes they email you about them. Sometimes they don't. So pull up your DraftKings Sportsbook app often and make sure you're checking out for all the amazing deals that they have to offer. And speaking of amazing deals, if you're looking to get to games, not games like tonight, but like games more like Monday's game, I guess. We don't know when those. I mean, if I knew when those games were going to be, I would tell you, but I would have the power to see the future, and I wouldn't be doing this job anymore because I would be like a billionaire. But anyway, Game Time has you covered. They're going to make you feel like a billionaire by you saving up to 60% on last minute tickets, which is something I'm pretty bad about myself. Sometimes, Jesse, I think that I'm going to get a better deal last minute, and I don't. I end up paying triple the cost. So it's great for procrastinators like you and me out there that want to get down on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. If you love PHNX and you love sports, you'll love Game Time. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description below. And you can buy your tickets to go watch Corbin Carroll and Alek Thomas play. There was a good question, and I mean, I think Jesse answered it the best. Obviously, that was the reason why. It was a matchup situation. Diamondbacks don't match up well against lefties, and Corbin Carroll definitely does not either. So even though he did have success in that first game, I think there is, a desire here to use him sparingly. He just got here. They want to make sure that they don't completely burn him out. And like Jesse said, he's also had a long season. But with that being said, it's very understandable for fans to be upset about going to the ballpark and not getting to see Corbin Carroll. And I mean,
Yeah.
I can't lie, Jesse. It's pretty exciting to me that the guy has kind of moved that fast in people's hearts, I guess you should say. Like people already think of him as a superstar, that they are deflated if they go to watch a game and he is not in the lineup.
Yeah. I mean, so yesterday the Diamondbacks and Phillies attracted about 16,000 to Chase Field. Today in Wednesday's game, the series finale, it was about 13,000. And so you're looking at the game on Monday was 18,000. So what I'm saying is, like, normally you'd expect to have a better attendance on Tuesday and Wednesday than when you would on Monday. And the fact that Monday's was fairly significantly higher makes me believe that the Diamondbacks probably got several thousand walk-ups on Monday just because Corbin Carroll was making his major league debut. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not going to say that like the reason that there weren't as many people there today is because Corbin Carroll wasn't in the lineup. That wasn't announced until pretty soon before the game started. But there's definitely a different feel with this baseball team, watching this baseball team when he's in the lineup versus when he's not in the lineup. And I think that's going to continue through the end of the season, right? Like, people really are getting excited about this baseball team, and Corbin Carroll is a very, very big part of that. So even though it's sort of a necessary thing based on what I said earlier, we're not going to see him, 7 days a week. I don't think that's realistic. But this is just going to be kind of how it is the rest of the way.
As people are pointing out, it was also ASU night, and the $2 tickets were available on Monday.
Sure.
So
that's also true.
There were quite a few weekend reasons. And like Tyler there points out, Tuesday there were 70,000 plus at the weekend concert. You added an E in there, so I'm going to have to take away points for that. But you are smart for everything else you said. I was at the weekend concert, one of the best shows I've ever seen, and I spent entirely too much money on that. I probably should have gotten my ticket through Game Time, if I'm being truthful about that. But Jesse, I want to know, because it's a topic that was kind of discussed after you left after today's show, but what is your favorite Corbin Carroll stat from his first two games? I'm going to give you ours so that you have a little bit of time to think about it. Mine particularly was the amount of feet he covers per second. Knowing that he covers 30.6 feet per Jesse, I don't think I cover 30.6 feet per minute. I'm pretty sure
That'd be pretty
sure
bad. That'd be pretty depressing.
Sure I don't. Jacobs was that the fact that Corbin Carroll contributed to 9 of the 25 runs that were scored by the D-backs in the first 2 games by either, being a run that scored or scoring or driving in a run. So what is your stat? By the way, I was also scolded for the way we treat Corbin Carroll for talking about Corbin Carroll Day. I was told by a Twitter user that we treat him like he's our special little boy. And he is. So, I mean, that's exactly, if that's how you think we're treating him, that's exactly how we are treating him. But what's your favorite stat from his first 2 games?
I mean, you guys, there's not that many stats that come out of a 2-game stretch, but I do have one for you. So Corbin Carroll was the first Diamondback ever to drive in 5 runs in his first 2 big league games. He had 5 RBIs in his first 2 big league games, which is pretty wild. If you think about it, every single hit that Corbin Carroll has so far in his big league career, there's 3 of them. All 3 of them were RBI hits, right? There was a 2-run double. That was his first hit. There was an RBI single in the game yesterday early on. That was his second hit. And then his game toward the end of last night's game was a double off the center field wall that drove in 2 more runs. So the guy has come through in some really big spots for this team. Also some not so big spots. I guess last night's game was sort of a clunker when he hit that double, and he was also facing a position player. But there's something to be said for, coming through when there's guys on base, and Corbin Carroll has definitely done that so far.
And he's not the only one. Again, we don't just have Corbin Carroll now to be excited about being here, because the Diamondbacks have so much stacked talent in their farm system that now we can start coveting our next young king that's going to come up and be a part of this organization. And that would be Jordan Lawler. Got his first home run tonight with the Sod Poodles. So it's exciting, because as much as you get to kind of, it's like, it's almost like every few months is Christmas for the Diamondbacks instead of it just being once a year, right? Like, you could be excited about a player coming up, and a lot of organizations have that guy, right? But few organizations, I feel like, have the number of exciting young talent that are like right on the cusp of coming up that the Diamondbacks do, and kind of like in this conga line, and as they're dancing their way to the majors, right? Jordan Lawler, again, another guy that we are very excited to see one day. And not only him, right, but Ryan Nelson was outstanding last night for the Reno Aces. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 run scored, a walk, and 5 Ks. So there's a pitching prospect for you to get excited about as well.
Yeah, the negative side of this sort of thing is that tomorrow, like we said earlier, is September 1st. And it doesn't look like we're going to see Ryan Nelson or any of those other bigger name prospects that we've been talking about. So not to be the Debbie Downer here, but based on some conversations I had today, my current speculation, Derek, is that Kyle Nelson and Buddy Kennedy will be the 2 guys brought up tomorrow as rosters expand from 26 to 28. So not necessarily official. It's possible that might not be the case, but I feel fairly confident in saying it's going to be those 2 guys, which is on the grand scheme of things, of all the things the Diamondbacks could have done on September 1st, maybe not the most exciting outcome to see 2 guys called up that we've already had up here before. But Kyle Nelson was certainly going to get brought back up the moment that he was healthy, which he now is. And then Buddy Kennedy just makes more sense, frankly, than any of the outfield prospects, given the traffic jam the Diamondbacks already have out there. The fact that Buddy Kennedy can play infield and give the D-backs a little more depth on the infield is probably a pretty big reason why he's a good candidate to be called up tomorrow.
Jesse has more information for you on this series, mostly on game 1 and Corbin Carroll shining in his debut in what was honestly one of the best baseball games I've sat through. Probably like it's
Yeah.
like that and Tyler Gilbert's no hitter are the two games in recent history that just kind of stuck out to me. And it's hard for games to stick out to me. I go to a lot of games, and Jesse goes to all the games now, so he can attest to this as well. It's hard because every night is kind of the same thing, and it's hard for certain nights to kind of stick out more than others. But there was some magic in the air that night, and same
Yeah.
thing with our description, our interview with Tyler Gilbert, everything that we had up, that wonderful video that you did over on our YouTube channel. So make sure to sign up at gophnx.com. That way you can get all of Jesse's amazing writing, not only Jesse, but Gerald, Owen, Craig Morgan. We have a wonderful staff over here. You shouldn't be missing out. So go get a membership at gophnx.com. Get a month-to-month option. You'll get your first month for just 50 cents. You can get an annual option, and you will get a free t-shirt over at the PHNXLocker.com. I hate to tell you this. I did not want to break this news. This t-shirt, not available. Not available on the PHNX Locker, but all of our other wonderful shirts are. So make sure to check out the PHNXLocker.com. If you're a member, you will get discounts regularly over at the PHNXLocker.com, as well as members-only access to our Discord, which let me tell you how important the Discord is. The Discord got this show started early tonight. Shout out to Chris in Phoenix, as well as our Discord, that both suggested, why are we putting ourselves through this? We want to hear Jesse.
There were a few people. There were a few
wanted to
people in
see-
the Discord. It was sort of a group effort.
They wanted to see me hit the stupid 18-2, Jesse. I'm gonna get the real bat. Can I get the because I have this signed Willie Bloomquist bat right here, and I really
You're gonna do it with a signed bat?
No, I won't do it with the signed bat. Fine. God. You never let me have any fun, Jesse. But anyway,
I mean,
don't know
you
where
can.
we're
It's
at.
your
Let's sign up.
it's your
That's
signed
my
bat,
signed
Derek.
bat.
You
That's my
do
signed
with
bat.
it what you will.
I good. I hope. Yeah, the audio peeps are going to be horrified because I don't know what they heard, but I'm sure it was. I'm sure it wasn't good. Not clean audio for sure, but you guys know what was happening. I was beating up my chair. You guys, we appreciate you being here this late in YouTube here on PHNX D-backs After Dark. Derek Montilla, Blood and Honey. I'd watch that. I would watch that. That Winnie the Pooh movie, it looks terrible, but I can't wait to see it. Again, if you're here, leave us a thumbs up, sign up for, subscribe to the channel, hang out, sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever we're doing shows like this at 10:25 after an 18-2 loss. You can't miss this. But yes, Charles Woodall Pike said, I'm going to need a new office chair from Moore. You're not wrong about that, Charles. I'm going to go for the Labor Day sale over at morefurniture.com. Excellent deals over there. But of course, if you're listening to us and you had to listen to me do that to my chair, I first apologize and I ask you to subscribe to your favorite to us on your favorite audio podcasting app. Leave us a 5-star review. That way other people know that you like us. That's what we were hoping for, right? At least you like Jesse. You might not be a fan of me based on my chair violence, but I get it. Also, my bird violence, wearing a shirt that says Bird Murderer, fuck all birds, and Revenge for Fabio with a picture of Randy Johnson on it. The bird, a skull for some reason. Someone's going to get sued for this shirt, Jesse, but it's not me. I didn't make it. Let's take a look ahead at what the Arizona Diamondbacks have coming up on the calendar. Things aren't good, but you know how it goes. The month of September is going to be a rough road for the D-backs. Who cares about today's game? No one cares about today's score. We're just moving. We're in the words of Troy Lavola, we're flushing this one, Jesse. We're scrubbing, we're flushing, we're moving on. A big 4-game series with the Milwaukee Brewers. Huge. Obviously, some idiot today was talking about playoffs, and Milwaukee Brewers are one of the teams in front of them that they would have to leapfrog in order to get to one of those wild card spots. So it'll be very interesting to see how they rebound from this 18-2 loss, see how humiliated they are. And then they have the NL West, just a steady diet of that all month long. 7 games left against the Padres, 7 games left against the Brewers. I think, what is it, 3 or 6 against the Rockies? I'm not sure, but they have the Rockies still on the schedule. With how the Rockies are playing, that's a welcome sight amongst all of these games against the Padres, Dodgers, and Giants. But again, they do have a chance here to gain some ground on the Padres. So, I mean, really, for the Diamondbacks, if you want to go this route, if you want to be an idiot like me and talk about the playoffs start in this series with the Brewers, to be honest. Did I call Jacob an idiot? I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back.
I'm pretty confused by that comment too. I don't really know where Jacob is getting this from.
No, I was calling myself an idiot. Jacob is what I was calling. But anyway, maybe it's the playoffs thing. It's because Jacob believes in the playoffs, and I'm calling him an idiot for believing in the playoffs. You're not. You're not. I'm just saying that the playoffs do start for the Diamondbacks now. They have a very tough schedule ahead, and if you want to even think that they have a chance to win the playoffs, they got to start doing some amazing things, and they have to start doing it now. Losing 18-2, that's not really great for a morale boost, but maybe it's the kick in the ass that they needed. Maybe use this as an opportunity to prove that you can't let your foot off the gas even for one game, because this will happen. Obviously, the Phillies had a lot to be upset about. They were embarrassed in this series in the first two games, to be honest, especially being up 7-0 in game one and losing 13-7. So I'm not surprised that they beat the brakes off the Diamondbacks tonight and looked for anything that they could do to really just try to rub salt in the open wound, right? But Tyler Hurd in the comments says, I'm just looking at getting to 500. 500 would be incredible, playoffs or not.
Yeah,
right? So
it really would.
I mean, that's a great way to take a look at things right now and hope that the Diamondbacks can get close to that. Just again, finish the season strong and see what you can do to kind of put last season behind us and distance ourselves as far away from 110 losses as we possibly can.
Yeah, I think there's been an adjustment in expectations here, right? It used to be, let's just beat the Rockies, let's just not finish in last place. That's what we were talking about for a while. The Diamondbacks were in last place, and then eventually the team overtook the Rockies. The D-backs moved into fourth place. The Rockies were in fifth, and the distance between those two teams grew. And then, the goal for the season was like, okay, finish in third place then. Like, see if you can find your way past the San Francisco Giants. And the Diamondbacks have found a way to do that now. And the Giants did lose earlier today, so the D-backs still officially stand in third place, even despite the ugliness of this loss. And so I think at this point, Derek, maybe the next goal that the Diamondbacks are chasing after is that 500 goal. I think the playoffs is going to be tough. I mean, the Padres won today, so now they're 10.5 games back. It's not impossible, but I don't think it's a realistic goal for them at this point. But getting to 500 is bullish, but possible, right? I mean, the D-backs are 7 games under 500. So can you find a way to finish the season, be 20-13? Can you find a way to win 20 of your last 33 games? That's going to be hard against some pretty good teams, but I think it's achievable. I think it's at least something the team could pull off if they play really well down the stretch. And the Diamondbacks have already shown the ability so far this season to exceed the expectations that people put in front of them. So from my standpoint, that's sort of the goal from here on out is trying to find a way to do that.
I'm going to give you my goal.
What's your goal?
I want them to win the Allcity Division. Throw it up, Sean. Throw it up. Oh, I want them to overtake the Chicago White Sox. They're not that many games back from the White Sox. 2.5 games back from those Chicago White Sox. So I would love to see them win this. I believe the White Sox crew referred to this as the mid division, mid-tier, mid at best. Who's the most?
There's nothing mid about 4 below 500 teams.
I want to be the most mid of the mid teams, though, Jesse.
Okay. The noble goal.
I want to be the least terrible team in our network, and I think that's an achievable goal as well. Who knows? I don't even think the White Sox are going to end up over 500 for the season, so we'll see what happens there. And that's what I want. The Diamondbacks, I don't ask for much of you guys. I asked for you guys to bring back the ice cream in the press lounge. You said no.
Who is you guys? Like, are we blaming our audience for that?
No, I'm saying the Diamondbacks. I asked the Diamondbacks. I don't ask the Diamondbacks for much. Jesse, okay. I don't ask the Diamondbacks for much. I asked them to let me in the building. I asked them to let me have a press pass. Yes, a lot of these things are very big asks. I asked them to let me go talk to the players. That's something that I'm sure is questionable at best. But I want them to help me beat the Chicago White Sox, the CHGO White Sox crew. That's what we need at this point. I feel like that's the direction fate is pointing us in. And yeah, like B says, that's all that matters. B's also made a great Clerks reference, and I appreciated that. And I wanted to not let that slide without giving you a little tip of the cap, sir. Also, I want to give you guys my DraftKings pick of the week. Again, I talked about some of the options that you have on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and there's a great opt-in for the Bills-Rams game where you can bet up to $250 on either team to go up by 7 early. So all they have to do, or not even early, it's just 7 points at any time. So you win a money line bet if the team you bet on goes up by 7. They could lose by fucking 18-2. Doesn't matter. I mean, that's not the way it works. They could lose 56-7. That's what this score felt like in this game. But if they go up by 7 at one point of the game, you win your bet. And again, it's a maximum bet up to $250. So I'm taking the Bills on that one for sure. And I think that Sean DePaz is going to agree with me on that one when it comes to the Bills. They're going to be a very tough team to beat this season, and I think they might even handle the Rams. But here's the nice thing is not only do you have the 7-point cushion, you still have the fact that if your team wins, you still win. So you win the bet if your team wins, right? They could win by 1 point, 2 points. They don't ever actually have to go up by 7, but it's a nice little option. And again, these are things that aren't always around, so take advantage of them when the DraftKings Sportsbook brings them and gives you the option for that. Also, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Four Peaks for allowing us once again to record another last Wednesday episode from their location over at the A Street Pub. I love Four Peaks. I'm getting over the loss with several. I try to reserve the Joy Bus, Jesse, for wins because it's called Joy Bus. I try to get on the Joy Bus.
Feel right.
I'm sad. I feel like I've been sad for way too long. I feel like this 3-hour and 30-minute game, or however fucking long it was, it made me sad, and I needed to take the Joy Bus out of that situation. But of course, you can enjoy the wonderful beers Four Peaks has to offer. And a shout out to our Toast of the Month sweepstakes winner. You can enter to win next month. Of course, we offer you a $50 Four Peaks gift card, a PHNX shirt of your choice, and a PHNX annual membership. So if you didn't win, go get down on that. Go to gophnx.com or click on the link below in the show notes and enter to win our Toast of the Month sweepstakes. Must be 21 or older to enjoy Four Peaks and enjoy responsibly. And again, that's also not the only sweepstakes that we got going on. We have our OG's Flavoring Live sweepstakes. Again, congratulations to our winner drawn today. And we are picking another winner next month who will receive 3 bags of OG's gummies, including orange creamsicle and tropical flavors. You do not, Open Shirt Derek does not come with the deal, but you do get that hat in the picture, a PHNX shirt of your choice, and a PHNX annual membership. So sign up at gophnx.com for all of that stuff. Click the link below in our show notes. Go check out our friends at OG's online at ogsbrands.com or on Instagram at OG's Brands. That's OGEEZ Brands. If you need to know how to take edibles in conjunction with sporting events, hit me up. I will be your Sherpa for that. And you can find their products at your local dispensary. If you didn't win, must be 21 years or older to purchase. And again, if you can't find them near you, check out ogsbrands.com, where you will be able to locate your nearest dispensary that sells Arizona's top-selling edible. Jesse, that's not the only thing I got for you. I got an office update. We announced it, I think today, but on our actual anniversary on, what is it, September 9th, I believe, is when we are going to be launching from the office. I've been a busy little elf at the office. I've been putting together furniture. I've been cobbling shoes. I've been making, little Narnia doors that only I know about, where all the booze is going to be kept. It's going to be a magical place. I can't wait for everybody to see. And of course, shout out to our friends, More Furniture, who's going to hopefully hook me up with a new office chair, because this one's damaged for some reason, Jesse. But of course, you can go to More Furniture and get down on the Labor Day sale, where you will get the finest deals that More has to offer over at morefurniture.com. And thank you to More for hooking up our office. I can't really talk about it because I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but it's such a cool place. And Saul won't let me nap there yet. Like I go there and I try to take a nap, Jesse, and he comes over and hits me with a stick and makes me get up and make more IKEA furniture that I have to build. That's why more furniture is better, by the way. It comes fully assembled by people. It's crazy. It's a crazy concept, but I didn't have to assemble a single piece of more furniture. So thank you to them for that as well. We thank you guys for joining us here in the comments and on the show and for being Arizona Diamondbacks fans. We hope we help you enjoy this team during the good times and days like today. So you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at cap_caveman with a K. Jesse is at Jesse and Friedman. Our show is at PHNX_DBacks, but of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. No show tomorrow. This is our final show of the week. So make sure to join us on Sunday, where we will be recapping, not recapping, but I guess Sunday would be normally when we do our series finale, Jesse, and that's a little bit weird this week, right? Do we have a series finale on Sunday, or does it carry over to Monday?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, we
Sunday?
do.
Look,
yeah. It's a 4-game series. It starts on Thursday and
That's
ends
what
on
it is.
Sunday. So it is a little weird.
I'm very tired. I was at a concert last night with the young people, Jesse. My ears are still ringing. I can't hear anything. I'm miserable. I didn't get any sleep. I barely made it over to our friends at Four Peaks today. So excuse me for having one foot off the merry-go-round, folks. But of course, we thank you guys so much for joining us on behalf of Jesse and myself. We appreciate your time. We'll see you on Sunday. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you don't get outscored by 16 runs.